They're two men leading the conversation.
Ironic.
He's not even letting the fake woman speak.
Wow. This is pretty intense. This is more intense than I think you get from like other popular conservative figures. Like you don't really hear. I mean, Ben Shapiro plays the cards a little safer. Steven Crowder has done worse, but at the same time has been, you know, basically on the verge of getting the third strike so many times that he kind of skews away from just outright transphobia. But this is, yeah, this is just straight up transphobia on display. For profit. If you're unfamiliar, is this The Blaze or the Daily Wire? The Daily Wire, PragerU, The Blaze, they all have massive conservative media outlets. They all advertise incredibly heavily. Oftentimes, if you're watching a leftist's YouTube channel, you'll probably get an ad for one of the three things I just mentioned, mainly because they have a lot of trouble pulling in new audiences because their shit is stale as fuck. It's really hard to appeal to a younger demographic if all you do all day is talk about how you need to pull yourself up from your bootstraps, and that racism isn't real, and that the history of America is actually just a glorious conquest of amazing white people. So like that stuff, it doesn't do as well with younger demographics. And they've tried so many times to try to, like, the PragerU's attempts are really sad. They've got this whole kind of like Teen Squad thing where they kind of do like an early Nickelodeon style presentation. It's weird shit. But they finally have a breakout hit. The Daily Wire has Brett Cooper, who's apparently becoming a TikTok sensation. Yes, an absolute TikTok sensation. And I was curious as to why. There's obviously TikTok format YouTube clips here, something that I thought YouTube was going to drop eventually, but they're keeping that going. So anyways, let's take a couple looks.
Like many young adults, I used to think that my goal in life was to be happy and healthy. That is I discovered capitalism. Now, my only goal is to constantly prove my worth to other people. With capitalism, my self-worth is directly tied to my productivity, and so I have transcended from just a human being to a human doing. Amazing. Capitalism is not just an economic and political system anymore. It's also a lifestyle. Get on with it. Hashtag internalize capitalism. Capitalism is so hot that I just can't fight this feeling that no matter what I do, it's just never gonna be enough.
Hey, this one seems like an olive branch. This dig at capitalism was actually pretty funny. And very funny.
If you start subscribing to capitalism today, you can also get consumerism, hustle culture, hyper-individualistic culture, and if you're lucky, feeling dead inside.
I think that was supposed to be a dig, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. The fact that we only have one life and capitalism gets to live it for us. Sounds like you need to be more in control of your own life.
So you learned nothing. What, like, was it just like, I like the funny voice and I like the sounds and I like that he did sketch that it was funny. And that's the limits of my understanding of the clip.
Go out and figure out what you want to do and how you want to contribute to society.
Like many.
That's the whole point, is that people identify themselves by their job and their work. That's holy shit. All right, we're off to a good start. How non-Americans think Americans dress. The office looks chaotic. Trans TikTokers got something right. Okay, let's see this one.
It's day 43 of being a girl and I'm in my canopy bed. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stay right here. Girls deserve to stay in bed sometimes. Trans people deserve to stay in bed sometimes. We're out here carrying this app on our backs. And did I wake up next to a Domino's pizza? Yes, I did. Am I gonna go rush to throw it away right now? No, I am not.
This kind of seems like a parody of trans TikTok. I could be wrong on that. All right.
So we are not going to feel guilty about staying in bed if we want to stay in bed. All right, you deserve it. This is your sign to do so. And I'm going to rewatch Bridgerton season 1 right now because it is better than season 2, but we still love it.
His stereotypes about girls, he's not wrong, but also those are not the only things that make women women. I am much more than my Bridgerton addiction. Thank you very much. Someone said it's called self-care. Self-care has become such an overused. So gross.
It's day 43.
Yeah, there's nothing really to say here. I think you might be using parody accounts, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'll wait to find out. Teacher uses PowerPoint to come out as non-binary. You pronounce mix, just like you'd think. Mix.
Oh my God. Why do people care so much about telling young people about their sexuality?
It's not his sexuality, it's his gender. It's very clearly, you didn't read the PowerPoint. I feel like you watched it, but you didn't want to learn about any of it, so there's that.
He replied and said, do you think that Sir Mix-a-Lot has been non-binary all this time?
You get it because it's mix and it's just, you understand, it's, yeah. Oh, that's the whole thing. So this is all it takes. I feel the bar is very low to become a conservative sensation on the TikTok using these kind of things. It's okay, let's see what an actual like YouTube video looks
Welcome
like.
back to the comment section. I'm Brett Cooper. Big news came out of Daily Wire yesterday. Matt Walsh's children's book, Johnny the Walrus, became the #1 best-selling book on all of Amazon. If you don't know about Matt's book, it is about a little boy who gets it in his head that he wants to become a walrus, and
yeah, we did a deep dive into that a little while ago. Actually, a project that I was meaning to launch was a children's book in opposition to his children's book. We never got around to doing it. I'll message Kyle. We got to put that project together and get it out, you know? Mr. Walsh is Big Mad or something like that.
his very nice, loving parents say, no, you are a human child. You cannot be a walrus. It triggers people per usual, even though it is just such a sweet little children's book. That is the book that became the #1 bestseller on Amazon yesterday. But we could not...
Y'all keep inventing things that you think it's like straw triggering, you know, like things that you think are upsetting leftists on a regular basis. And like, they're like, we wouldn't know about this if you weren't screaming about it all day. Like, no one would know about Matt Walsh's book if he wasn't like, well, you know, it's a good day for Matt here. I basically just got the top selling book in the LGBTQ plus section. So I'm pretty happy about that. Guess this is triggering a lot of leftists. Look how triggered they all are. The great triggering is upon us. So I hope they're all very triggered by this triggering. And yeah, this is an exciting time.
Not have done that without the generous help of Amazon employees themselves. This is like the Disney leaked footage 2.0. Like, this is even better. So this time, footage was leaked from an Amazon call where employees were literally having a meltdown over Matt's book.
We're all gonna die!
This is like some Amazon employee like screen captured this, and that's how it was leaked. It's just fantastic. Let's get into it.
The recommendations that this customer received and that other customers frequently reach out to us about that they're receiving, it's about a book called Johnny the Walrus. And I want to be very clear, the next two are about...
Can you hear how upset they are right now? Like, they're just basically screaming into the camera. I have never seen such a triggering in all my life. This is the triggering of all triggers.
books. And I saw someone say, oh joy, we're going to talk about...
Complete and utter meltdown.
It's been a very traumatic experience for transgender Amazonians and our transgender...
Do you see the fucking reach going on? This is exactly what I was talking about. It's like this faux outrage culture.
customers.
Hold on. Do you guys hear that? We need to go back.
It's been a very traumatic experience for transgender Amazonians.
People saying like very calm and collectively very reasonable things, and it's just like, oh, look at the meltdown. Well, the liberal tears, just soy all over the floor. Holy shit.
Transgender Amazonians. Wouldn't it be Amazonians? He's saying Amazonians like the Amazon people, right? That's cultural appropriation. They need to check themselves.
Johnny the Walrus is a bit of a problem.
And then concern trolling. Right
not
away.
A bit. It's one hell of a problem. And I would preface this about what the book's about, but the customer we're going to listen to.
Yeah, it sounds like an individual who may have dealt with bigotry in their life and thinks that it's kind of offensive that Amazon would be recommending a book that is definitely anti-LGBTQ, and it has intentionally been put into that section by Matt Walsh to be able to achieve these moments of epic ownage.
Does a great job. So
I didn't know we were going to hear a customer.
Let's go ahead and listen to this customer.
I just checked your website.
She sounds awful.
And the book is still up on there. I hate to tell you, but it is by Matt Walsh. It is teaching kids to bully transgenders. Yeah, to bully them into committing suicide.
She hasn't read the book.
Now, the author, Matt Walsh, just tweeted this yesterday morning at 8:04 a.m. I now have the #1 anti-LGBT book in the country. Any further criticism of me or my book is homophobic.
That was a good tweet.
You are selling a manual to how to teach kids to bully other
Yeah, Skunk,
kids
that's coming up.
to commit suicide.
Does this lady not have anything better to do? Also, on the side, it says customer, but we know that this lady's name is Karen. Like, it has to be. She's the LGBTQ Karen. Like, this woman has obviously
Do any of you know the history behind the use of that word and why people use it? Anyways.
not read the book. It's like this. It's like the same scenario with the Parental Rights and Education bill or the Don't Say Gay bill, where people were screaming about it for the last month and a half, when clearly they have not even read the bill. It's the same thing with Johnny the Walrus.
So we read Johnny the Walrus. In fact, we actually had Johnny the Walrus read to us by none other than the author of the book itself. And no, it does not ask or demand that children commit suicide. That part would be disingenuous. What it does do is it promotes transphobia, and it tries to promote it and indoctrinate children at a very young age to equate being trans with the idea of imagining that you are a walrus. That's the idea. So that children have very vivid imaginations. They may believe at one point or another that they are a walrus or a ghost or a mythical creature of some kind, and they try to combine that. Whoa! My stream deck, as soon as I said ghost, seemed to have some ghosts enter into it and suddenly control the panel. But anyway, sorry, back to my original point. Yeah, the point of the book is that it's equating the idea of being trans or having your gender identity not be the one that you were assigned at birth with the idea that, of course, you are identifying as a walrus. It's basically the book version of the attack helicopter joke, and Matt Walsh is so very, very proud of it and the trolling that he's achieved as a result.
Where in the book does it discuss LGBTQ anything? Does not talk about killing kids or bullying or anything. These people have so little going on in their lives, so few problems, that they just decide to make a mountain of them so that they can feel important.
Need a coffee table book.
I know that was, cringe to listen to, but there's more. So this is after the phone call has finished with a customer. Now we're getting back to the employees.
So Johnny the Walrus, this book, takes the form of a children's book. It's like a cardboard, like preschool styled book.
Wait, hold on. This person talking sounds like a man, but they're dressed like a woman. Look at the person talking.
Oh
this
my
person
God.
looks like your quintessential middle school guidance counselor.
So
but then listen to the voice that comes
raw
out.
You
transphobia
saw
now.
in the
That is
in
a man.
the customer contact how she was talking about.
It's a freaking man.
What the hell is even that?
I got distracted. Let's actually hear what this
So
man
just straight
has to
transphobia now.
The book
Well, this
made
derailed
it to
quickly.
#1 bestseller in LGBTQ books, and actually I think it was #4 of all books for a day.
I mean, it
number
would seem
one,
like you are the ones
which
getting a
is-
little bit more
It's
offended
bad
at
faith.
this.
It's basically abuse of Amazon systems to promote their particular brand of hate and harm on the community.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
This is kind of rich too, because the whole thing being where she's saying on her show, this book isn't about bullying. This book has nothing to do with anything related to trans people or anything like that. And meanwhile, you're going to see on display me actively just trying to misgender someone, bully them, and I guess that plays into it. They don't get it, right? They and why would they? I mean, if you happen to be a cis person who's never had any of this explained to you, or you've never actually had these kind of conversations outside of hearing them in the echo chamber of the conservative network, then all you think of it is just a whole bunch of liberals who are making up all this stuff, who are just delusional. And they're just trying to advocate for rights, and at the end of the day, they're all attack helicopters. So why should it matter to me?
Taking advantage of the Amazon systems? No. All Matt did was write a children's book, have it be published, put it on Amazon to be distributed, and people are buying it. People buying a book because they want to read it is not abusive or hacking your little system. They're two men leading the conversation.
Ironic.
He's not even letting the fake woman speak.
Wow. This is pretty intense. This is more intense than I think you get from other popular conservative figures. You don't really hear. I mean, Ben Shapiro plays the cards a little safer. Steven Crowder has done worse, but at the same time has been basically on the verge of getting the third strike so many times that he kind of skews away from just outright transphobia. But this is just straight up transphobia on display for profit.
Patriarchy. Y'all, the lack of self-awareness on this Amazon call.
It
like makes them want to die. Like they need to have a will in place. Which, lucky for all of you, actually, my new sponsor is Epic Will. Epic Will.
Whew, wow, right into your sponsor. Little joke about trans suicide, and that's yeah, that seems like a very appropriate time to talk about epicwill.com. Holy shit, next level. I guess, yeah, this is the way the culture war is going to go. If this is the next generation, if these are the new pundits for the younger generation to appeal to, like, this shit is fucking ghoulish. That's more levels of ghoul than we've seen from a lot of other figures so far. Like, maybe I'd say Lauren Southern comes close. Lauren Southern did do the whole like advertising in one of her like, you know, the Indigenous Graves thing is made up videos where it's like, oh, but before we start, I'd like to bring up our sponsor, gold. Don't you all want to buy gold? And I was like, this is pretty fucked up. But this one actually trying to tie the really, really shitty joke about trans suicide into your sponsor about Epic Wills. That's fucked up.
Is our new partner here at Daily Wire. They are protecting us.
That we're doing this because.
You know what's wild too is that people on the other end have been begging just for like the lowest levels of human decency. That's it. Like all we're asking is that you call us by our names, and if you want to put a little effort into it, please call us by our preferred pronouns. But even if you don't want to call us by our preferred pronouns because you can't just get it past your bigoted head, then sure, all you have to do is call us by our names. The same thing that we ask that everyone wants, right? Like you would like to be referred to as your name, rather than something that someone just makes up on the spot. You understand that, right? And it happens to have a significant importance because part of our struggle is that we are struggling with the way that society broadly at large is trying to identify us as a gender that we aren't. So it actually means more to us for you to do this. Now, if you don't want to have, again, the basic level of human decency to be able to use a preferred pronoun, it's too difficult for you to use they because your brain hasn't done that before, except for every single time you're on a phone call. Well, then call us by our names. That's all we ask.
Mommy was told to take...
Oh, then it cut off. Never mind. Right now, they're probably...
What's the link to this vid? So in terms of messaging or talking to sponsors, did I ever tell you that I called into that gold company that Lauren Southern was sponsored by? Not to try and get her canceled, but I was actually just curious if the sponsors have any kind of moral problems with the content on which they appear. Turns out, in the case of that gold company, they do not. I was like, are you aware that this video is like on Lauren Southern's video? It's a sponsored video on there, and they're like, we do advertise frequently with Lauren Southern. I was like, are you aware the content is calling into question the discovery of murdered Indigenous children? And like, we're not aware of the content, but we frequently will continue to advertise on Lauren Southern's videos because we find that a lot of our audience will purchase our products that you know, happen to watch her content. So the monies. It's about the money.
Having a meltdown. That man started crying when it was at number 4. The man's probably just having a day off for himself. Self-care, you know. I went through the comments on they cut back to Americations. It is profitable.
Well, Daily Wire has themselves a new hit star, and it turns out that she happens to be more intense, more transphobic than a lot of the other content that you've been seeing. So, I mean, this is a very scary development. It's going to be like, this is the next generation. This is what they're hoping will, you know, get more kids involved in conservatism and hating trans people and agreeing with the passage of trans bills and all that shit. It's really fucked up.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form. Available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free. Just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Just, we are prepared to embark on a mighty jihad in your name. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your humble jester, attempting in vain to get you to laugh. To our valiant knights of the Round Table, Benji Arnie, Tech Tink, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Mayred, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood. It doesn't matter what I believe, it only matters what I can prove. Egbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Daniel Sutton, Coulter Smith, Jenna Tao, White 185, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, The Tim Caucus, Multimondi, Trevbot, EXE, Brian Ephraim, Lemmy 101, Anthropophojack, Saren 42, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Agent NDN, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Zach Christensen, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We raise our mugs and salute our brave heroes off to another glorious conquest.